We begin tonight with a CBC News exclusive, something that happened at this country's busiest airport. One Canadian customs officer is speaking out against the treatment of female officers and questioning why their rights were considered less important than a religious group from another country. The CBC's Neil Coxall has been looking into this story. Neil.
Peter, no women allowed. That's essentially the message given to some female customs workers last week at Toronto's Pearson International Airport. And all it took was a religious request from one group of travelers to make it happen. They are the first Canadian faces that greet international travelers. Their questions, routine.
How long are you staying? Are you bringing any gifts? Minimal interaction.
But it's the question asked by a religious group arriving in Toronto last week that's enraged many customs workers. Before the travelers passed through the airport, CBC News has learned Canadian Border Services Agency managers allowed a group of Hindu priests to avoid screening by female customs officers. What was their reaction?
The overall reaction, especially from the women, was what? Excuse me?
This customs agent was working the evening of July 28th. She's afraid for her job, so she's asked we conceal her identity and alter her voice.
I am an officer of the law of Canada. What do you mean you are a guest in my country? What do you mean you don't want to deal with me because I'm a woman?
CBC News has learned the group was traveling on British Airways Flight 099 from London to Toronto. 5 men, Hindu priests known as sadhus, who adhere to a strict lifestyle and avoid all contact with women.
It's not about the religion, it's about the fact that a request like that was made and was entertained by the CBSA.
In a statement to CBC News, British Airways says, quote, "We are very sensitive to the varied needs of our customers. We make every effort to meet requests so long as they do not compromise the flight experience for other customers or infringe upon applicable laws and regulations." Canadian Border Services says it doesn't comment on individual passengers.
As a union, we do not believe that this should be normal, no. Again, we don't think that as a federal agency that we should be facilitating any kind of discrimination.
Mark Weber leads the local union for customs workers and says he's seen this happen before.
I would like to see a concrete policy put in place by the CBSA.
What if it had been fundamentalist Christians who said we don't want to deal with gay officers? Would we then move everybody who professes to be gay?
The union is planning to take this to the Human Rights Commission, and the Public Safety Minister's office says it's requested an internal investigation, Peter.
All right, Neil, thank you. Neil Coxall in Toronto.